This may be the most shocking NBA leak of the decade. A clip from a live stream that was never meant to be public somehow made its way online. After ending the stream, Kyrie Irving believed he was no longer on camera. Thinking he was offline, he began speaking freely. Then, out of nowhere, he delivered a statement that instantly sent shockwaves throughout the entire NBA world.
You sure this ain't live? Because I'm tired of pretending LeBron isn't an evil man.
Yeah, he really said it. And believe me, that wasn't even the wildest part. Once you see the full clip, you'll understand how he completely exposed everything that happened behind closed doors during LeBron's second era with the Cavaliers. From the internal power dynamics and front office decisions to the trade and the so-called brotherhood, everything fans thought they knew about their relationship was turned upside down. So buckle up, because after watching the rest of it, you'll never see that era the same way again. The moment the leaked clip hit the internet, the NBA world went into full meltdown mode. Fans were absolutely stunned, treating it like a shocking new revelation. But for anyone who closely followed the Cavaliers in 2017, the tension had always been there, especially after Irving requested a trade in July of that year. Now, 8 years later, he has finally confirmed what many had long suspected but never heard said so directly, that the LeBron era felt manipulative and controlling. Fans quickly began digging up old footage, uncovering moments that suddenly made more sense. They found clips of Irving looking visibly irritated during press conferences and on the bench, moments that now seem like clear signs of deeper frustration beneath the surface.
Because that question was crazy. When somebody asked me if LeBron was like a father figure to me, bro, that was crazy, bro. No kizzy. That was a crazy-ass question. He's like a few years older than me.
There was also that infamous moment when someone referred to LeBron as a father figure to him, and Irving immediately shut it down. His reaction made it clear that he was uncomfortable with that narrative, signaling that he never saw their relationship in that way.
Let's not act like Kyrie wasn't playing at the same level that Bron was playing at in that run.
So Kyrie saved his ass because Bron sat his scary ass in the fucking corner and said, "Here, Kyrie, in the game. I'ma go sit on the side. Here, Kyrie, do it for me."
People began rewatching every interaction between them, and suddenly, all those small signs of frustration started to feel like pieces of a much bigger puzzle. By the end of the Twitter meltdown, one thing became crystal clear. Irving was never just a side character in someone else's story. He had always been a star in his own right, long before the LeBron drama ever existed. And when people talk about that era, some, especially LeBron fans, like to downplay Irving's impact. But the truth is, Irving played a massive role in the 2016 finals. He hit the iconic three-pointer in Game 7 against the Warriors, a shot that directly led to LeBron securing his third championship. That moment alone cemented Irving's place in NBA history.
Kyrie knows the clock, sends it. Got it! Kyrie Irving! At the horn!
But to truly understand why this tension cut so deep, you have to go back to the very beginning. Back to 2011, when Irving first stepped onto the court in Cleveland. Before LeBron's return, before all the major trades and drama, Irving was the franchise's golden child, the centerpiece around which the entire future was being built.
This whole celebrity idea is eroding. The whole fame idea is eroding. That's sold to us, y'all. You got people out here that are human, that are acting every day of their life. They're not even real.
He was adored by the fans, respected by his teammates, and fully independent in his mindset. He wasn't chasing super teams, fame, or control, unlike LeBron, whose career has often been defined by those pursuits, even to this day. He was simply a pure hooper, grinding, learning, and building his identity without all the noise. When the Cleveland Cavaliers selected him first overall in the 2011 NBA draft, fans were instantly excited. After a short but impressive stint at Duke, Irving entered the league with massive expectations, and he wasted no time proving he belonged. As a rookie, he averaged 5 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds per game while shooting nearly 47% from the field and 9% from three-point range. Those weren't just solid rookie numbers, they were the numbers of a rising star. It was no surprise when he won the 2012 NBA Rookie of the Year award, earning 117 out of 121 first-place votes. And it wasn't a fluke. Over the next few seasons, Irving continued to elevate his game. He averaged 5 points per game in 2012, 20, 8 in 2013, and by 2014, he was no longer viewed as just a promising young player. He was a full-blown star. His 2014 All-Star selection was well-deserved, especially after he exploded for 31 points and 14 assists in the game and walked away with the MVP trophy. Throughout these years, Irving stayed focused. He didn't chase drama, leak stories, or seek out super team opportunities. Instead, he quietly put in the work. Those who knew him from high school and his early NBA days described him as humble, private, and deeply focused. He didn't crave attention or hype. He only cared about basketball. Much of that mindset came from his father, who taught him the importance of discipline and responsibility, often telling him, "You've got a Bentley engine. If you don't go, the team doesn't go." That lesson stuck. Irving became a player who valued hard work, staying grounded, and growing in silence. To the Cavaliers, he wasn't just another star. He was the foundation, the future, and the centerpiece of the franchise. By 2014, Irving had fully paid his dues. He was no longer the rookie trying to find his place. He had become a respected all-star, the heart of Cleveland basketball, and the face of the franchise. For a brief moment, everything revolved around him, and fans believed his era had officially begun. But that was also the exact moment when everything started to change. Out of nowhere in 2014, LeBron James decided to return to Cleveland after 4 years of chasing super teams and superstardom. The announcement instantly shifted the balance of power within the organization. The Cavaliers' world tilted overnight. To make matters worse, Irving found out just like everyone else, through news feeds, interviews, and headlines, without any warning or personal heads-up. From that moment on, nothing in Cleveland would ever feel the same again.
I had no idea, man. I found out that Bron was coming back like the rest of you guys. Rest of you guys in the world. I had no inclination. I had no time to prepare. It's not that it was on my bingo card, like, hey, I'm going to spend my career playing with Bron. Like, I had no idea, guys.
The team he had helped shape and build from the ground up no longer felt like his. Almost overnight, he went from being the face of the franchise to being cast as the sidekick. The shift was immediate and unmistakable. The front office, the media narrative, and even coaching decisions began to revolve around LeBron. His PR team, brand managers, and media insiders quickly flooded the organization, and suddenly, the stories, interviews, and overall narrative were being controlled in a completely different way.
You know, every time you play with Bron, it's going to be a lot of media attention. It's going to be a lot of back and forth of narratives. It's going to be about a lot of spun narratives. It's going to be a lot of politics.
The Cleveland Cavaliers were no longer just a basketball team. They became LeBron's stage, and every spotlight in the city followed him. Irving was still the same elite player, still a leader, and still putting in the work, while LeBron dominated the attention. But that was only one part of the shift. LeBron also brought an entirely different world with him, a world filled with dark Hollywood energy, A-list celebrities, and exclusive parties that required NDAs just to attend. It was an atmosphere Irving never signed up for and never felt comfortable in. Suddenly, high-profile figures like Sean Diddy Combs were part of the environment, attending events, shaping public perception, and fueling the media machine. Irving quickly sensed that everything had become political, carefully curated, and artificial. Nothing felt organic anymore. To him, the entire atmosphere felt fake, dark, and emotionally draining. His instincts proved sharp, as fans later uncovered old photos and leaked clips of LeBron attending Diddy's parties, prompting people to start connecting the dots. This same Diddy would later be sentenced to 5 years in prison for serious criminal charges, and shocking security footage surfaced showing him violently abusing his then-partner, Cassie Ventura. As if that weren't enough, 50 Cent recently released a documentary alleging Diddy's involvement in the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G., sending shockwaves through both the music and sports worlds. All of it only reinforced Irving's belief that the environment surrounding LeBron had become dark, toxic, and deeply unsettling. Yeah, that's the same person LeBron was close friends with. And like flipping a switch, fans began realizing that Irving had been sensing that strange, controlling energy long before the public knew anything. Looking back, it made perfect sense. Irving wasn't insecure or fragile. He was navigating a world that had suddenly become unpredictable, performative, and dominated by someone else's narrative. Everywhere he turned, the dynamics had shifted. The organization, the media, even locker room conversations were influenced by LeBron. That was the turning point. From that moment on, everything Irving had worked to build was now seen through a new lens. But his frustration wasn't about ego or jealousy. Irving was already one of the league's top players. It was about recognizing that the system had been reshaped in a way incompatible with the independence and energy he had always embodied. LeBron's obsession with control, from media image and narrative to teammates and front office decisions, is well known. Ironically, when LeBron first left Cleveland for Miami, he claimed it was because the Cavs had a weak front office and lacked co-stars, leaving him unable to carry the team alone. In Miami, he formed the Big Three and dominated. But when Cleveland drafted Irving, LeBron returned, not just to play, he came back with leverage. His short-term contracts with player options weren't random. They ensured control, kept the front office in line, and aligned every move with his preferences. The ripple effect was immediate. The roster began to shift, bringing in players with history alongside LeBron, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Mike Miller, James Jones, Kendrick Perkins, slotted into a blueprint only LeBron seemed to see. Then came the move that cemented the new hierarchy, the Kevin Love trade on August 23, 2014. That deal made it clear Irving's rising squad was no longer his own. The franchise was now being rebuilt in LeBron's image, around his system, his preferences, and his timeline. The changes didn't stop with the roster. Coaching shifted as well. In January 2016, head coach David Blatt was fired despite a 30-11 record, and Tyronn Lue, someone aligned with LeBron's vision, was brought in. This pattern followed him wherever he went, including the Lakers. He influenced the Anthony Davis trade, weighed in on the Russell Westbrook acquisition, and even impacted decisions involving his son, Bronny James. For Irving, this environment made it impossible to grow while staying true to himself. His style, energy, and rhythm belonged to a lane defined by freedom, expression, and independence. Things that simply didn't fit in LeBron's world.
Do you know who was responsible for the killing of Tupac Shakur?
No, I don't. I think that Sean now, in my mature mind, had a lot to do with the death of Tupac.
And if you watched both of them during that era, from the outside, it all looked picture perfect. They were the superstar duo everyone admired. But behind the smiles, handshakes, curated photos, and media soundbites, there were real cracks, deep ones. Irving's request to be traded from Cleveland wasn't an impulsive decision. It was the culmination of years of friction. Years of pretending everything was fine, and years of navigating a side of LeBron that no one outside the locker room had seen. Inside the locker room, Irving kept to himself, not because he was cold or antisocial, but because the environment never truly felt like his own. Teammates noticed the tension and spoke about how LeBron would often talk down to him, assuming a mentor role that Irving never asked for. He barked orders as if Irving were still a rookie learning the ropes, despite him being a proven star. One clip even went viral showing LeBron on the bench, lecturing Irving and giving instructions in the way a coach might teach a rookie, a moment that perfectly captured the underlying tension.
When you're playing with somebody like Bron or somebody that you guys like to compare him to, it's a different animal. It's a different journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're automatically expected to be at the top of the charts, the top of the league.
Every time Irving stepped onto the court, every time he touched the ball, there was an unspoken hierarchy. LeBron first, everyone else second. Irving could feel it in the tone, the energy, and the way LeBron's presence seemed to dominate everything. It wasn't a partnership, it was control. That tension didn't stay on the court, it spilled into the media. LeBron didn't just lead in games, he managed perception off the court too. Subtweets, cryptic lines, and pointed interviews like, "We need a playmaker," or "Some guys need to grow," weren't casual remarks. They were public jabs, carefully designed so LeBron could appear clean while others took the hit. Irving despised being spoken about in headlines instead of having real conversations. That was disrespect, plain and simple. And when LeBron called him a kid, that moment finally sealed it.
As we go back to Sage Steele in the studio.
Hey, Mark, yeah, game 2 of our doubleheader is underway in Oakland.
Irving wasn't a kid. He was a champion and an all-star. To be treated like some inexperienced underling was nothing short of disrespect. But even that paled in comparison to what unfolded in 2017. Just a couple of years later, the tension and frustration from those years would push him to make a statement that shocked everyone.
This is the kind of stuff that gets on my last damn nerves about LeBron. So now, months later, let's clean this up to the point where he looks totally innocent and all the, I never wanted Kyrie to leave. That was never a part of the equation.
People often forget that the Cavaliers explored trading Irving for Paul George behind his back, without any warning, just as they had done with the LeBron trade. When Irving found out, it shattered whatever trust he had left in the organization. And when the news reached the press, LeBron quickly denied any knowledge, moving instantly to protect his image. But Stephen A. Smith fired back without hesitation, insisting that LeBron did know and that he cared more about safeguarding his reputation than being honest.
Did you speak to LeBron James or talk to LeBron James before you and your representatives met with ownership and let them know that you wanted out?
No.
Why not?
Why would I have to?
And Irving saw it for exactly what it was: proof. Proof that he was never truly valued on that team. That's when he made the only move that made sense. He completely distanced himself from LeBron and requested a trade from the Cavaliers. He didn't call or even text LeBron about it, which was fair, considering the organization had blindsided him twice before. The team Irving had helped shape and build from scratch wasn't his anymore. Suddenly, he wasn't the face, he was the sidekick. Everything shifted almost immediately. The front office, the coaching staff, the media narrative, they all bent toward LeBron. And while Irving continued to give his all on the court, the spotlight and control had moved elsewhere. Leaving became a matter of survival. Why open up to someone who steered coaching decisions, controlled the narrative, and manipulated perception at every turn? He owed himself distance, clarity, and the chance to define himself outside of that world. When Irving finally walked away, he didn't just leave a team. He left an entire ecosystem of control and influence that never treated him as an equal. Staying would have cost him his identity, and he refused to compromise who he was to fit someone else's image of success. The moment he departed, the Cavaliers realized what they had lost. A franchise that looked unstoppable on the surface began to crack. Irving wasn't just a co-star, he was the piece that balanced the chaos LeBron controlled. Once he left, everything fell apart. On August 22, 2017, the Cavs traded Irving for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, and the Nets' 2018 first-round pick. On paper, it seemed like a fair exchange, but it quickly became clear that it wasn't. Thomas arrived injured, Crowder didn't fit, and the team chemistry was off. The Cavs, once cohesive, now moved in slow motion. Irving had been the linchpin. With him gone, the offense dipped slightly, but the defense plummeted to 29th in the league. Their net rating fell from +3.2 to 0.9, not because LeBron declined, but because the team had leaned entirely on Irving, and the balance was gone. Even with LeBron still performing individually, the Cavs were no longer a super team. They were a stressed roster, struggling to survive each series, pushed to 7 games by both the Pacers and a Celtics team that didn't even have Irving or Gordon Hayward. The imbalance stemmed from LeBron's need for control, and once Irving escaped it, the whole system unraveled. The locker room turned toxic, Isaiah Thomas called people out, Crowder looked lost, and Kevin Love took the blame for everything. The team had to blow up half the roster at the trade deadline, a move true title contenders rarely make. The ripple effects extended across the entire Eastern Conference. Boston rose as a contender with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Toronto broke through to win the 2019 championship, Milwaukee surged, and Philadelphia loaded up. The Cavs' collapse shifted the league's balance. Then, the final piece snapped. LeBron left Cleveland again on July 1, 2018, for the Lakers. The team didn't just fall off, it imploded. With no structure, identity, or spark, the Cavs were left with empty seats, blown leads, and a franchise struggling to remember what winning felt like. For Irving, walking away allowed him to take control of his career. While LeBron went full Hollywood, movies, production companies, Lakers spotlight, and empire building, Irving pursued independence, choosing his path and defining his identity. The fan base war continued, with LeBron fans blaming Irving for the Cavs' collapse, while Irving supporters reminded everyone that he had saved LeBron's legacy with his iconic Game 7 shot in the 2016 Finals. Irving stuck to his truth, and it paid off. After moving through a few teams, he landed in Dallas, where he rebuilt the narrative around himself. By 2024, he was averaging 24, 7 points, 4, 8 rebounds, and 4, 6 assists per game for the Mavericks. His shooting was elite, hitting around 40% from deep, while carrying a heavy scoring load in his 30s. Combined with his handles, finishing ability, and clutch play, he became one of the league's most dangerous offensive players. But the bigger win wasn't just the stats, it was respect. Players across the league began seeing Kyrie differently, not as someone overshadowed, but as a peer and craftsman. Younger stars admired his footwork, pull-up timing, and ability to use screens effectively. With the Mavericks, Irving became the heart and soul of the team, setting standards in practice, pushing teammates in meetings, and bringing calm confidence to games. His leadership helped Dallas remain competitive even through injuries, and the organization made it a priority to keep him long-term. Kyrie declined his player option to sign a new 3-year deal worth $119 million, showing mutual commitment between player and team. Then, in March 2025, disaster struck. Kyrie tore his ACL, ending the season and pausing the momentum he had built. Yet even in injury, his story remained a testament to perseverance. He had walked away from a toxic system, rebuilt his brand, earned respect across the league, and produced elite numbers while doing it. A journey of independence, growth, and redemption.